And you know, it sounds like it's a pretty, you know, in the scheme of things, a fairly minor issue of when they're talking about 10 or less parcels throughout
They have
the city.
relocation programs for them, don't they? From what I saw out of the properties they were trying to acquire, a lot of those people went through through ProSource or Jumpstart kind of relocation program where they were offering the people moving. I think they were offering them a small percentage of it, like a down payment assistance if they could find another place that met HUD qualifications and that kind of thing, or they were offering them, I don't know, like their deposit and their rent, you know, paid on an apartment or whatever. It was happening to the neighbors next door as they bought out their place. They were renting it and the owner was selling it, and they had some kind of program for them. So I'm sure they, you know, leave them in there while they have to. They still have an eviction process. You can't kick a person out in a day just because you sold the building. And so, you know, but they've got some programs I know out there to try to get them someplace else and to help them get into someplace else. You know, that way they can move them out faster.
Yeah, so I hate to pass the buck, but some of the more detailed on that, you might just have to hit Joe.
Joe, I wonder if he would know what those, if they're 10 or less properties, we can probably figure out specifically what properties they are. Maybe.
He doesn't,
I really
they're
don't.
not identified.
I really don't know.
They don't have any in that program.
Probably not.
I feel like we've been duped as a community, that we were suckered into voting for this, and none of the money has gone the way it was supposed to. I will vote no in March.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? All right, well, thank you very much. When we move on as far as the committee, we'll just take them in order here as far as new animal control facility. Again, what council has voted on there is an obligation of $3.55 million of lost funds to go towards the new animal control facility. I'll just read the ballot language, which we must look at that for and vote. 10% for property tax relief and 90% for the acquisition and rehabilitation of flood-damaged housing caused by the flooding of 2008, and matching funds for federal flood dollars to assist with flood recovery or flood protection, which that is at the bottom of our agenda sheet this evening. So I'll open that up for any discussion as far as animal control.
I'd like to go back in the bylaws where it says what our responsibility is. The primary responsibility provided by this resolution is to assess whether expenditures of the tax proceeds fit the uses approved by the voters. That campaign was sold on the idea that this money was going to be going to help the homeowners, the residential. That's how it was sold. It didn't say, you know, fancy projects. It didn't say that we can acquire property at 5 times the assessed value to help their millionaire friends become richer. It didn't say, as in with True North, that our locked money, $4 million, will go to make up the gap between the appraised price and the purchase price. We didn't get to name our purchase price. It was 107% of the assessed value. True North was assessed at 1.5, and I'm saying this because it's an example of the public works. True North was assessed at 1.5. Council voted in February 2010 to go with that site. In March, True North bought the property.
Okay, well, hang on, we're not talking about True North.
Yes, but I wanted to have it as an example of how the city council is using money for public works facilities. That was for the library.
And which we voted on already.
And council completely led astray the public. Even in Monica's debate, she came right out and said we couldn't go back to the library, FEMA wouldn't let us. That is a blatant lie. FEMA wanted us to go back. So we're not even getting the truth from our own city council people. And it wasn't until 3 days before the city council voted September 28, 2010, to buy True North for $7.5 million wasn't until 3 days before the mayor ran down to Kansas City, still appealing to let us relocate. So $4 million of our lost money went to a library that we didn't even need to spend the money on.
Okay, but we've discussed that and voted on that already.
I know, I'm just using that as an example of how incompetent the city council is using our lost money for these public works facilities. They're not using fiscally conservative choices.
Called the bad vote. Called the bad
For
vote.
several of those reasons, that's not what the intent of the money was used for, and because they already have evidence of misusing our funds.
Getting ready to
I mean,
watch
if
the
they
local
did what
option
FEMA
sales
wanted
tax
to do,
committee
that's a total of $7.5 million.
vote on a
that our
project
taxes wouldn't
outside the
cover.
ballot language
FEMA is still
of their
coming
local
from our
option
taxes.
sales tax.
CDBG is still coming from our taxes. Yeah, the state money is coming from our taxes.
Any other comments? As far as animal control.
But yet they're spending all this money building new, and yet they can't come up with funding the services, like the library, the animal control. Same problem as with education, just an example. We spent all this money on fancy new buildings, and yet the services aren't funded.
Are we talking about animal control?
Well, and even the fire station, they're underfunded. I'd rather see a lot of money go to personnel. But that's
Any thoughts?
Does the public, okay. Does the public have any thoughts on this specific issue?
We have public discussion.
I do.
I'm afraid we opened and closed the public input for tonight. But I did want to, normally we do it at the end, but I did want to do it kind of in the middle of the day before we did vote.
All right. Sure.
Because they're wanting,
Well, I think it's I'm going to kind of keep, my opinion, for whatever it's been now, 3 years,
Not about
pretty much
opinion.
the same. When
Nothing to
the
do with
library
opinion.
came up, when the rec center came up, and the fire station came up in the past, my opinion is the intent of the voters, without a doubt, was to take care of flooded homeowners. Definitely priority one. So that, to me, is what the intent of the voters is. When you look at the ballot language, you have matching funds for federal flood dollars to assist with flood recovery or flood protection. So, can an argument be made that these public, for lack of a better word, infrastructure or buildings fit that ballot language? Yes, obviously, we've been through that before with these prior issues that have come forward. So I'm still the same place I've always been, is before money is used on public facilities, I would always feel much more comfortable that there's enough money from this 5 years' worth that has been set aside to fill homeowner gaps. I still feel that should be priority one. And once we get to the place where we feel, and you got the estimated, you got the obligated, you got the de-obligated from the program, so, it's an ebb and flow. But are we there yet? To me, that's the finish line. Homeowners have been taken care of, then we can move on to the secondary part of the ballot language. So I don't know, are we there yet?
homeowners, your property owners, residential owners.
Now, that being said, obviously our vote doesn't mean much, because it's gonna happen.
They'll do what they
it's gonna
want
happen either way.
anyway.
But, obviously, I think that's what our role is to vote what we think as a committee is correct, and that's the balancing act, ballot language versus intent of the voters.
Well, and we, pushed the vote through immediately after, really fast after the flood, before we knew what all the government things were gonna do, so that colored our whole, we didn't know we were gonna get all those millions and millions of dollars in for some of those programs, so that's why the ballot was written the way it was.
Well, actually, we had several million dollars from CDBG before that lost fund even came up. They were spending it on developers before they were paying for voluntary acquisition in the CDBG zone.
So I think basically, for me, that's what the judgment call is
What it is.
kind of been my stance on that.
Well, and that's why I wanted to cover some of the gaps. It's certainly not complete. I got quite a few left here, but I just wanted to let the committee know, especially since Joe is here, that there are an awful lot of gaps still.
Any other discussion? All right, well, then we'll call to vote. So we will be voting on whether the committee views lost funds being used for new animal control facility, whether we approve of that or disapprove of that. So those who believe are comfortable with that, vote yes. And those that aren't, nay. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Nay.
nay. Isn't that fun?
Maybe we should do it too.
All right, so you have, who was where on that? And then let me guess, I think we'll roll right into the next item, as far as the new public works facility. I think we're pretty much on the same type of issue there. City building, public building, however you want to call that. I don't know if we can rehash a whole lot, I think that's
Well, I just want to point out
all in
that
the same area.
our city council here is voting to spend money, and they're not even discussing where we're going to get it. A $13 million gap is going to come from the local, and they didn't even
There
discuss
again,
it.
that's outside of our purview. Our purview just, if they come to loss for money, do we feel that is right or wrong?
It'd be more easier to say it's right. It'd be more easier to say it's right if they were spending conservatively.
Well, there again, that's not our call to make, we don't make those decisions. It's the way that ballot language and intent issue
I was thinking that is your call,
on those.
to determine if it's right. And if
Well,
it's,
that's what we
yeah.
vote on, yes or no.
well, and if she's over there saying they're spending money frivolously and inefficiently, isn't that wrong?
That's
And
one
so why would,
person's- that's
so
one
why would you vote
person's
for it if it's wrong?
view. I'm
You
afraid
didn't.
public comment is
Yeah.
over. We need to conduct our business.
You're kidding me.
So is, any further discussion on public works? All right.
An A is a
Those
yes,
in
an
favor
A is
say
a
aye.
no.
Those
Yeah.
opposed?
Nay.
Nay. And you got the details on that, Brittany?
Yep.
Okay.
That's people who voted. Okay.
Wanted to open it up to the committee as far as anybody have any potential agenda items for the next meeting? And then we'll discuss next meeting date.
I have a question for Casey. I was looking through the paid expenses, and I only had time to, my printer still doesn't work, so I'm literally my parents to do this. I was looking at pro-source expenditures. And some of these are very clear when they say small business recovery, because I know that there's a program, is there? Oh, okay, yeah, it's not, it doesn't say loss. But, there's, under pro-source, it's loss, disbursement of funds, let's see here. $1,371. 2,430. Okay, this is landlord assistance there, so that's, but it just says disbursement of funds, disbursement of grants. That's what I'm wondering, is the ones where it says loss, and it just says disbursement of grants. And, there's quite a lot of them on the week ending November 22nd, for disbursement of grants, comes, close to around, I think it was like $3 million. The next expenditure was close to $100,000.
So what were those grants? What, was that the
Yeah.
program or the?
The next disbursement was $400,000.
Financials that break it down by program, that's gonna split it out between the different programs.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, 'cause,
Right, but
So
this,
would that
what
be
you're
the
talking
first-
about, this is
Would that be the
this is
personal possessions grant or something, or?
Well, I don't know without looking at it. My whole thing is that if you wanna know where's the pro source broken down by program, that's when you tap out every month, that shows that, what you see on the accounts payable vouchers, it's not gonna break it down by program, it breaks it down by whatever the, department entity that we use, so it's not gonna split it between.
well, I'd like to know what program is, and personal possession program was administered by CCIA.
Right, that shows up, that should all show up in the items we hand out every month by program. Which is provides you that breakdown cost by program, of what's being charged for each program.
Yeah, do you need a copy of that last one, Lisa?
Um,
The last,
The last matrix, yeah, I have it here from
but the last detail report?
yeah, we didn't get that last month either.
Yeah.
We did? Yes, because I thought I asked for it, and we didn't get it. That's August. I trust you, if 3 people are saying it, I believe.
Yeah, we got an email that updated our copy. When you said grant, I just don't think grant program, that we call it, we call it grant, it's a personal possession, that it's to the top of it.
Yeah, that was CCIA. But, I mean, some of these are really clear, although my eyesight isn't. You know, like the landlord, the rental rehab reimbursement, and what's the other one?
If you highlight any of those, that's something that we can just have you look up, Casey.
Oh, here we go. Small business recovery, that makes sense. This is CDBG program, but it's the one that says local option sales tax, disbursement of funds, disbursement of grants. Yeah, so I'm wondering what program, what disbursement of grants. I like it when you guys put in the expenditures column what actually it's going for, what program it's going for.
I think something like that, if you have any specific things, you can probably just pass those on to Casey, and figure that out for next meeting. Anything else for next meeting agenda?
So should I email the ones that don't show which program, it's just a disbursement of grants for loss, I mean, so that you know what it's,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
We are gonna have, I think the discussion on new ideas.
Yeah. Do you think you'll have something put in black and white, Lisa, on the next meeting?
For gas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go
Okay.
down the list I
So
have.
maybe a
and then-
discussion
and
on
I've been
potential, housing gaps.
And then I got a bunch that I have been putting in here.
I'll get you a card.
Housing.
So you got something to look forward to.
I don't think it needs
I had
to be
something to
limited
what?
to housing.
Yeah, just
Oh,
Forge
right,
your-
any
landlord
potential,
too.
Forward your
Yeah.
complaints to
any potential
Oh.
gaps.
And lots of gas.
Well, I don't have any.
Anything else for next time?
request.
No, and I just wanted a quick address, since we're at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year, how easy or hard is it to plug our meetings in? So if you, odd-numbered months, March, May, July, could we come up with a listing that we could plug them into our schedule way ahead of time? Does that work, or how?
You can
How
do a certain
flexible are
extent,
the
we'll be
rules?
moving, I mean, we'll be moving probably June, so,
First
we,
half of the year.
we could do the first half.
Okay, okay.
I think it'd be actually easier.
And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I did, you guys wanted me to talk to Steve, and he's obviously had some attendance issues. His teaching down at the University of Iowa is over, so he won't have those distractions or conflicts in scheduling this calendar year. But I do feel if we can schedule those out ahead of time, and people know they can get them on their calendars, and he can work around those much better. But I did have a discussion with him that if it continued into this year, we'd have to look for a replacement. So just wanted to help you update you guys on that.
Second Thursday in March and then May.
Yeah, if we can book those, and that way we can get them on our schedules.
Do you really think that every other month is enough?
That what, I'm sorry?
That meeting every other month is really enough? I kind of think we should go
Probably
back
have one
to
scheduled
once a
for
month.
February.
We did, we had one scheduled in February, we called this one
A special.
for January for a special. Do we want to go again in February or go out 2 months ago? I don't think there's been enough activity on a council matrix thing to push it back to once a month.
Well, if we're gonna discuss gas, I'd still like to keep the February one. And so I was
So, what do you guys
talking
think?
about regularly going back to monthly.
Yeah, I just don't know that I see a need, I don't know what you guys think.
I don't see it. At the present time, I don't see it needed. We can always, if we have something pressing, we can always
Like we did this.
call another meeting like we did this time,
Okay.
right?
And so feelings on February or March?
Yes, February.
Yes, very good, yes,
Either
either
one.
one of them.
One or the other, but not both.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I think it should be February. If we're gonna go over gas, hopefully they can
We'll go
get
back.
some
We'll go
sort
Early
of
in April.
Okay.
way to
let's-
affect the gas.
That way we can maybe schedule 3,
I don't know if you.
or leave June
We'll
out
find
of
out.
the picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put you down in
All
there.
right. So let's schedule 2 this time, February and March, or February and April, sorry. Then I'll leave it up to you guys whether you want to tackle June or hold off on that one, contemplating a move. All right, anything else? I'll entertain a motion to
Well,
adjourn.
February what, though, are we doing the 9th, or the second Thursday still? So that'd be the February 9th, and April